All right, well, we all know that Christmas is a time to remember the birth of Jesus, about how he was brought into this earth and eventually would die and rise again so that we could have eternal life. But sometimes it can get really easy to get unfocused during this time of year because Christmas has become kind of commercialized, and unfortunately, if we're not careful, it becomes more about the gifts instead of the gift, Jesus. So today I want to talk to you really quickly about keeping Christ in Christmas. We have some traditions at our house for Christmas, and one of them, what we do is we buy an ornament for our family every year, and our first ornament, because it was just me and Amy, had just a couple figures on it, and sometimes it's a little moose or it's a snowman or something like that, or a little Santa Claus or something, but our family grew, so later it turned out to having 4, 5, 6 kids, counting me and Amy, 8 little figurines on our little decoration, and every year we would buy a special decoration for each of the kids. And so the next year when we would decorate our tree, the kids would kind of look at the decorations and have memories of what it was like the year before or many years before. You have a 16-year-old that picks up a decoration of a picture of them when they were in preschool and them making a little decoration with a picture. It's really, really kind of cool. And then one of the hard things is my daughter Abrina got married a few years ago, and we took all of her decorations, we put it in a box, and we gave it to her to give to her family and make it a part of their tradition if they chose. That's a really cool tradition, and we really like it. There's this huge tradition. I don't know if you guys know about the tradition of where Christmas trees came from. It's actually pretty fascinating. It's a tradition that started in Germany hundreds of years ago. Tribes of people decorated trees to honor their gods, including a very powerful god, the Oak of Thor, which was a huge tree that no one cut down. They believed that if you cut down the tree, then you would receive some sort of curse or bad thing would happen to you because it was this Oak of Thor. Well, a Christian missionary named Boniface came through, and he was there to spread the good news about Jesus Christ to the people. And one thing he did was he actually chopped down Thor's oak to prove that Thor was a false god, not the true God who loved them and created them in his image. And guess what? Nothing happened, and they began to believe in Jesus. And so Boniface told them to use an evergreen tree to represent Christ because its green leaves were constant and never changing, like Christ's love. So today we honor that kind of memory, and we actually keep Christmas. You might not even know it, but you're keeping Christ in Christmas when you kind of put up that Christmas tree, especially if you know that story. My question to you today is, what kinds of traditions do you have in your family that point to Christ? We have a bunch more that we do. We have a manger that the kids look and put the manger together, and when they do, they talk a little bit about Christ. On Christmas Eve, I share the Bible and about Christ. And I know that some of you have some great traditions that keep Christ in Christmas for you. And I want to encourage you to strengthen those traditions and keep on doing them. If you don't have any traditions, or maybe you do have some traditions, you can add more. Get creative. Sunday in our church service here, someone shared about how on Christmas Eve, they all take communion to remember Christ, his birth, his death, and his resurrection. There's all sorts of things that you could do to keep Christ in Christmas. Remember, the Christmas season is not about the gifts. The Christmas season is about the gift, Jesus Christ. So as you're about shopping or talking with people, it's a great time to bring up Christ in Christmas. Some people don't even realize what Christmas is really all about. And you could share a testimony, and who knows, maybe somebody would get saved or give their lives to Christ through that testimony. That's keeping Christ in Christmas too. So, hey, thanks so much for listening to the podcast. If you liked it and you'd like to get some more, hit the subscribe button. If you hit the like button, hit the share button, whatever I could do to bless you. So thanks so much for listening to my podcast. This is an encouraging word of faith, hopefully to encourage you in your faith and your life with Christ. Thanks so much for joining me.